Good morning, children. How are you all today? Hope you all are doing well. Children, in the earlier session we learnt about the causes for the World War. Children, let me be very clear once again with the causes of the World War. We have seen in the session regarding the Eric Hobsbawm statement of why the 20th century is called as the age of extremes. And we also have learnt, children, regarding the causes of the World War like imperialism, the secret alliances, aggressive nationalism. You might have seen about the aggressive nationalism, which is a cause for the outbreak of the First World War and Second World War. So one such idea of aggressive nationalism. Nationalism to some extent is a positive impulse. But when it is beyond its limits, when it develops hatred towards the neighboring countries, then it turns out to be aggressive nationalism. So let us learn today about the rise of fascism, the ideology which has been developed in the defeated countries after the First World War. This ideology provocates the unity of the nation or the unity of the people. At the same time, it also develops neighboring countries, hatred towards the neighboring countries. And children, in order to expand their nations and occupy the other nations, this fascism, the ideology of fascism works very well. Fascists do not allow to have different opinion in the nation. They wanted to have a single interest. The national interest itself is a point of fascists, and they never allow to have different opinions in the nation. If you look at some of the famous fascists who ruled the world and who came to power in 1920s and 1930s, it all began with the conquering of Italy or coming to the power in Italy by Mussolini in 1923, and later by Hitler in 1933 in Germany, and followed by a kind of same militarism ideology in Japan. So these all countries in one or the other way own the same kind of fascist ideology. They wanted, even Japan, which has a kind of ideology called as militarism, has been waging wars in order to expand in countries like China and Korea. So learning about these all things, Hitler was a powerful speaker, and his passion for his words has moved many people. He promised to build a strong nation. And he also promised to provide employment for the youth who are looking for employment, and he also promised to undo the injustices done during the Treaty of Versailles and to fight against the foreign conspiracies against the Germany. So these all things made Hitler an unquestioned leader among the Nazi party. This Nazi party has come to power in Germany in 1930s. Actually, Hitler, who wanted to establish a fascist country or a dictatorial power in Germany, has believed in displaying the mass power. So these Nazi party rulers or the Nazi party activists have conducted large rallies, public meetings in order to mobilize the public and show that, to display their power. And the kind of swastik red banners carrying the swastik symbol, and the kind of swastik, the Nazi party salute. Generally we put salute like this, but Nazi party salute will be like this. So these kind of things have created a kind of atmosphere in Germany that they all got united to fight against the minorities. In order to build the Germany united, he started building the Germany in a racial supremacy. He started supporting to a group, a majority group called as Aryans, who are the local Germans, and he created a hatred towards the minority groups like Jews were there and Gypsies were there, the nomadic tribes. He started creating hatred towards them, and there was a mass killing of these Jews and Gypsies. We shall read how many number of people got died in the name of World War II, under the shadow of World War II. How many minority groups, ethnic groups were cleaned by Hitler also we shall see in our further class. But remember, children, Hitler, who was a small leader at the beginning of 1928 because of his words, because of his passion, and because of his unquestioned power. In 1928, in the lower house of the German parliament, which is called as Riksdag. This is one of the most important question, children. What is the German parliament called as? It's the Riksdag. So this is the lower house of the German parliament. Elections conducted in 1928, he won just 2.4% of votes in 1928. In a span of 4 years, it was in 1932, okay, he won 37% of votes. You can imagine in these 4 years how the popularity of Hitler has increased. So after 1932, he became the unquestioned leader, and as soon as he came to power, he started abolishing all democratic institutions. So he started bringing his group people, his community people into the power, and as a result of this, the Germans had seen a very radical change in the German political activity. And Nazis and Hitler was also against to the communists and socialism. He mentioned in most of his speeches that capitalism and socialism are foreign conspiracies towards Germany. So he maintained equal distance from this capitalism and socialism. He devised his own political activity where he started arresting all the communist leaders, and he started establishing or creating special forces in order to bring the German society to order and discipline. For this, apart from the general police which were present in green uniform in Germany, apart from them, he started creating the new autocratic rule institutions like SS. They are called as storm troopers, and he also created the state secret police called as Gestapo. This is also one of the most important questions, children. The secret agency created by Hitler in Germany is the Gestapo. So these are the institutions which had extra constitutional power, not even the constitutional power, the extra constitutional power. Whomever they doubt, they can take into custody without any legal procedure. They can be deported or they can be killed. That power was given to such kind of institutions which created and built the German state as a state of horror and fear. All this was done in order to bring order and discipline among the Germans. So Germany was undergoing a serious depression. Of course, you all know it. Germany, after the First World War, has to pay a large war indemnity to the victorious powers under the Treaty of Versailles. As a result of that, it started printing large currencies. As a result of this printing currency, inflation increased in Germany. So keeping all these things in mind, he started the economy recovery. The job of economy recovery, he assigned to a famous economist in Germany called as Himmler Sachet. So he is a famous economist who suggested Hitler to build the state-funded companies where full employment can be guaranteed. So as a result of his advice only, Germans started building the national highways. Even today they are working. The Germans have built the highways during the period of Hitler, which are working even today. And these national highways building has provided employment for large people. And apart from that, People's Car Company. Have you heard this car company? People's Car, it is called as. People's Car. It's nothing but Volkswagen. So Volkswagen is a company which was created by Hitler in order to provide employment to the Germans during the Great Depression. So by all these kind of government funded works, Germans started getting employment, and a section of especially the middle classes of Germany started getting benefits of this economic policy, and the standard of living started slowly growing. But nation started investing huge amount on the armament industry, and they started providing employment to large section of people. But the armament industry will flourish only when there is a war. So in order to keep this industry running, Hitler followed a dangerous foreign policy of invading the neighboring countries or conquering the neighboring countries with the war. That's the reason why he waged a war against the Poland, which he considered it as a small war, but later it turned out to be a Second World War. Under the shadow of the Second World War, a dangerous genocidal war also has taken place among the minorities in Germany, in which 6 crore Jews were killed, 70,000 gypsies were killed, and many disabled and old people of Germany were also killed, which we consider as a genocidal war in Germany. These all took place in the shadow of the Second World War, children. So the Second World War has begun in 1939 and continued until 1945. So in the next class, children, we shall read about the causes for the outbreak of the Second World War and what are the consequences of the war. Hope you understood the rise of fascism and the rise of Nazism. Nazism is nothing but the political party started by Hitler is Nazism. So these are the topics which we have discussed today. Make a summary of it. Thank you, children.